Hi there, this is Ms. Redding, and I wanted to walk through an example biology grade with you so that you have a full understanding of your grade or your student's grade. You're looking at a little snippet here of a few of the grades from Unit 1, as well as all of Unit 2 for a particular student. Now, initially, it looks like this student has a B and is doing well, but I'd like to help you zoom in a little bit to make sure you understand all the details of their grade. So each unit makes up an approximately equal percentage of the grade, and that will be broken down into two different categories. 80% will be summative. This includes tests and labs. The 20% then will be formative, notebooks, ed puzzles, think more like homework. Now, to pass the course, the student must complete two things or have two things showing up on their grades. One is that they must pass every ELO, and we'll talk about that, and then they must earn at least a 70% in the course. So let's take a look at some of the students' grades. Here you'll see in green some formative assignments. You'll see the Unit 2 notebook, a couple of ed puzzles, and those contribute 20% of that particular unit's points. And you can see their scores to the right. For example, on their notebook, they earned a 66%, 129 out of 195, and that might be something they want to go back and complete more work for. Then 80%, here we see the summative. Items 24 and 25 are two separate test scores for the Unit 2 test. The ELO test is representing all of the ELO concepts that we focused on during the unit, and that is 70 points compared to just 30 of the non-ELO material, which is material that we learned but not crucial to passing the course. Then you'll see two labs, the diffusion lab and the plant and animal cell lab, and their respective points. And these are all in the summative category. Now let's take a look at mastery. Pay special attention to these when you're looking at your grade or your student's grade. The category is mastery, not just a unit, and this is basically a tracking system. It does not contribute to their score, however, it is very important to see whether or not the student is actually passing. This particular unit had 5 different ELOs, or skills that the students must have been able to demonstrate mastery for. 2.1 was a cell theory, 2.2 prokaryotes and eukaryotes, 2.3 organelles, 2.4 transport, and 2.5 cell transport prediction. So all kind of different skills. So what we're looking for here is that the student has all ones and no zeros. So here you'll see that the 4 of these ELOs the student has passed, and so that's great that they are well on their way to passing the course. However, it looks like there's still one ELO that they are working on in order to pass the class. Now, since the test has been taken, the student will need to complete test corrections and do a retake test on that particular ELO until they have passed that concept. Then they would technically be passing. But for now, the student is actually not yet passing because of this one ELO that's not yet cleared. So the most important things for you to look at are their overall grade and whether or not they have mastered the concepts. So I hope that helps you understand where your student is for their grade and if they are actually passing or not.